Hey, this is Pistol Pup, and I want to show you how to pack a fursuit carrier. Now, this is my main suit, mascot suit, costume, fursuit, whatever you want to call it. And as a part of the suit, I have the head in the middle, wrapped up in a bag. You can see the nose is actually protected by being in between that and the bag and the layer there with the sandals. I just kind of put accessories down on top of that. Right between it and right next to it are the feet, and those are there because we're actually providing side-to-side support so the head stays stationary, and it's also provide support on top so the head can't really get squished and doesn't get mashed up if I'm toting it around or whatever. It's important because even though the head's foam and it can get squishable, you don't really want to do that because it can risk damaging some of the seams and things like that. Now, I'm borrowing this giant hanger here, if you can see that, which is my roommate's, and I'm going to eventually get one that I can hang the body on and actually dry the whole thing out. And you'll see the cord right here for it. If you note right there in the plastic bag, that's actually a can of aerosol. I would not fly with aerosol. However, if you're driving somewhere to a con or something, the aerosol is not bad. But as an emergency protection, put it in a plastic bag, because if you don't do that and you have a problem, you're going to run into issues with the aerosol getting all over your case, therefore all over the suit, and it can really destroy things. Right next to that, in the plastic Ziploc, there is a repair kit that has needles, thread, scissors, a knife, glue sticks, a glue gun, the whole 9 yards, a couple types of thread in there. Pretty much anything I need to actually do a repair when I'm out, just in case something breaks, tail starts coming a little loose, or who knows what happens. I mean, some of the events I've gone to, there's been kids that will hang off the tail thinking that it's a good swing or something because it hangs up for being a husky, and it's there just to prevent damage to the tail, prevent issues. Now, what I'm putting in next is essentially Under Armour. It's the cheap Walmart version of Under Armour. That is compression bodysuits. It's made out of Lycra. Very shiny black material. It fits tight on the body. It actually helps wick moisture away from you. I have a Lycra balaclava I made to put on my head, but I found with the one that's in the suit itself, does fine, and wearing the two of them together really isn't that great, so I just stuck with that. I also have sets of bandanas. The smaller ones I don't really wear as much anymore. The larger ones, like this here, a very large bandana, I wear that. I'm going to hold one off to put on the top of the case, and I'll explain that later. But there's my other spare large one here. All of them just recently out of the wash. It's common courtesy to folks at conventions and elsewhere, please wash your suits before you go to a con. Even if I haven't been suiting much, or the suit's clean, or been sprayed down with the disinfectant and dried and all that, I still like to wash it in between cons, even if the suit's pristine, just because it gets it a nice fresh smell. I use Woolite and a touch of fabric softener. If you start having problems with the fur matting and things after wearing the suit, what I recommend highly is to use just a touch of Armor All. Get a spray bottle, like well, this is Armor All, but that's not the spray bottle I was looking for. But anyway, you want to spray direct onto the fur and then brush it out. It actually gives it a nice sheen. You can see on the paws, there's a little bit of a sheen to it. Very soft, kind of rejuvenates it a little bit and gives it a nice look. Just don't put it on the bottom of your foot paws or anywhere or I don't use much on the hands, because the top of the fingers is fine, the base on the hand, a little bit to rejuvenate the fur, but it picks up dust if you're going over dusty areas, so you don't want it on the bottom of the foot paws for sure. But I use just a touch of that on the bodysuit to keep it shiny and keep it nice and fresh. You can kind of see the shine that it gives. It makes it nice and soft. And just a touch on the fur. You got to keep in mind, fur is synthetic fabric, so when you're dealing with fur, Armor All works with synthetics, with plastics, which is what synthetic fur is. It's a plastic. And so by using a little Armor All, you're set, and it'll help you out. Now, normally I don't have the fursuit hanger in here, so it's going to be interesting putting the bodysuit in, positioning it. So I always start first with the tail in the actual enclosure here in the case. I'm going to position the tail so it actually wraps around here and can stay out of the way when I close the lid. Brush the fur away because you don't want fur catching the lid. See how I brush the fur away here? Make sure it's off. I like softer things on top versus hard things. This is actually making contact with the case, so I'm not as worried about the fan being on top of where the head is. But just don't put pressure on the head. Don't put a lot of hard stuff on top of it because it can actually cause it to mat down the head. Next I'm going to work in the top part of the body, and I'm just going to put that here, lay a paw down there, or an arm down there, and another arm down there, and just kind of wedge that underneath the tail here, just like this, so it's out of the way. And then I'm going to fold the legs up over, like so, and put that down the side. Now again, I've got this fan in here, so it's a new experience for getting the fur around it. And just kind of got to do what I can to wedge it in just right. And then over here I'm going to wedge this around the tail and tail there. So I've got the tail, the body, everything wedged. Now the body will compress a little bit here around the tail. It'll mush a little bit. When you're using these cases, it's a generic Rubbermaid, what they call Action Packer. I don't know if I can see the label. It's called an Action Packer. This is the, I think, 24 gallon. Walmart carries them. They're really handy, solid plastic, very good packers for loading up a suit. Now, I like my suits being clean, fresh, and smelling good for events. No need to go out smelling like you've been running around for a day and dripping in sweat. What I'm placing on top here are just simple dryer sheets. Those will help with the smell of the case, the suit, and keep everything nice, fresh, and clean. Give it a nice smell. They're just dryer sheets with little Febreze in them. And I'm going to take my last bandana here, this, and I'm actually going to use that to pack around the tail and some of the fur on this side. And this side I can just mash that down. But use this to sort of keep it out of the way. So when this lid is on and all these marks are there, it'll actually impact the fur less by having that in the way. And so I just take it, press it down, close it on that side, press it down, close it on that side. There's locks you can get that fit through the holes here. Some of them going all the way down, they have, I don't know if you can see in there, but they have underneath kind of a plastic piece that's sort of in the way. You can dremel that out and wedge it out so you can actually get a lock all the way underneath the bottom side of this, which goes through the bottom hole there. And you can do those TSA rated locks, so you can do that for travel. Also have some cute con badges that I'm going to throw in there. Last con was RCFM, so don't need this, but I'm going to steal something here with this badge holder and remove the actual card and use this spare badge holder for one of my original pistol pup badges, which is this one from AC03, so I can still keep that with me. And I have a couple other badges, but I'm just not going to bring those, and so I'm just going to carefully wedge that on top here, like that, stick it in there, and this is how I pack my suit for the con.